Hey everyone, I'm Iro from Pad, and this is my guide for the ongoing Matcha Tournament event. I've seen a lot of previous guides, each with their own specific solves, and I wanted to put them all in one place and provide personal insight into them. This guide will be showcasing multiple ways to approach each floor, with increasing levels of efficiency and or difficulty, go into detail about ways to remember them, and explain ways you can approach this ranking dungeon as a whole. So the premise of this ranking dungeon is that there are 4 floors. Each floor changes the entire board into a specific pattern, and each pattern is able to produce 10 combos. Let's start with the first board and the solves you can utilize. So the first floor spawns 5 rows of each color. And if you can see here, if you look at one side of the board, you already have 5 combos that are made, and you want to isolate the other half of the board in order to break the 5 rows into 5 extra combos for a total of 10. Let's take a look at the first solve. Do it in slow motion. What you're essentially doing is you're taking the top row and you're displacing the rows beneath it in order to break those rows into combos. Like 3 kids in a swimming pool displacing the water in order to reach down to the bottom. You can start from any corner of the board, really. And there are multiple ways you can displace the rows. You can start from here and do something like this. You can do a whole loop-de-loop. Let me turn on no skyfalls here. Now let's look at the second solve. And it's basically it's very similar to the first solve, except you're only going to break 2 rows, and then you're going to make 2 clockwise motions around that middle light orb, as you see there. It saves time, and it's, in my opinion, a bit easier to perform. Do it in slow motion here. Break the 2 rows, and then speeding up time in order to finish faster. When doing the clockwise motions, be careful not to go the other way, as this dark combo will still be connected to the horizontal one, and you'll only get 9 combos from that. This applies to either corner of the board. You can start like this. In that case, you would go counterclockwise. Now, the solve that I'm currently incorporating into my runs is essentially the same as solve 2, except the beginning's different. It's a little less intuitive, but you're essentially breaking the 2 rows around the same time. And here I am doing that in slow motion. And then after, you just do the clockwise motions again. That completes the solve. You only save a few moves from this, but if you're able to do it effectively enough, you can save a little bit of time. And if you're really fancy, you can incorporate some diagonals into that. Let's take a look at the second board. So the spawn creates these columns, and at the top and the bottom you get 2 rows. And what you want to try to do here is separate the combos in the middle while also breaking the rows on the top. Let's take a look at the first solve. You're going to start here, and you're just going to make the horizontal combos again for this solution. Bring the red on top to break the yellow row, and then from there you just make horizontal combos, and you get that ladder combo formation. And the board is symmetrical again, so you can start from the other half of the board if you wish. Now this next solve is, I feel, visually a bit more difficult, but it should be easier to pull off. Let me show you first. Let me break it down to you in slow motion. So you start with this blue orb, and you're going to make this figure 8 around the whole half of the board in order to separate the red combos and break the rows. And you finish off the yellow combo, and you separate the green combo. You can actually start by separating the green combos first. Example would be this. And doing the figure 8. And that solve makes this nice sort of snake-like zigzag motion at the end, which you may find a bit easier. Solve I currently incorporate, for example, would be this. And the reason I start my beginning like that is so I can make this one swipe motion like this, and then finish off the green combo. If you want to get fancy, you can incorporate a double diag, and then other diags as you see fit. For the third floor, you get these columns as so, and then once again they're separated by rows. And the cool thing about this is if you swipe, the vertical combos match perfectly, so you're just trying to break the light and dark row. Here's the first solve. Very similar to solve number 1, except you're only displacing 2 rows. You can also do it from the other half of the board, if you wish. The next solve starts in a similar manner, except you end by creating an elevator cascade. And it saves a few moves. Let me show it to you again. This movement can be a little awkward, and you can easily diag it out of place. But it does save a few moves. And this last solve is the same amount of moves, but I feel is a bit easier to perform. Let me show you. You start with this hard orb, circle around to put the dark combo, break it into the bottom, and then create that cascade on the right there. Once again. That's how it would look like in a run. And yeah, let me show you the last board. Now here you get 15 light orbs, and the other 15 orbs consist of 3 of fire, dark, water, heart, and wood. It's shown like this. And what you basically want to do, there's no really simple way to do this, but you really just want to make sure that you ladder combo this board. And if you see here, the orbs tend to favor the left side of the board. So you don't want 3 sets of combos facing the right. That spends more time and effort. So what you really want to do is shift these orbs over to the left and bring these 2 combos over to the right. And here's the first solve. You're starting with the heart orb. And one by one, you're just shifting the orbs over, right where they belong. Just like that. Go down, shifting, following through. I'm not well versed in that solve because I utilize this next one a lot more. And let me break that down for you. So you're getting that heart orb to connect with this one, and then you're putting the blue orb back in place, going all the way to the right, making a tiny loop, and then another loop. This will get the wood and the heart orbs into the correct combos. Finish off the blue one, go up, shift the dark and the red where they need to go, and then finish the solve. Another thing you can utilize for this solve is diagonal at the beginning. That way you can get the heart over without having to adjust this water orb at the beginning, like that. And from then, you finish the solve. And that's all the solves that I have for you all. And with this guide, I hope you will be able to figure out which solves will ultimately help you in your efforts to achieve the outcome you desire. Not every solve will feel the same way for everyone, so whatever ends up working best for you is best. And if you're not interested in crowning, you can still get plenty of rewards, plenty of valuable rewards in the lower percentile ranges. I wouldn't worry too much about the expansion latent slot to Madras up 29% or above. If you're able to farm Ultra 1 or Ultra 4, you don't really need to worry about those. So anything lower than that, you can get almost 1 billion coins and very valuable killer latents. And for most people, you can do that with very minimal effort. Because in the first 3 floors of the dungeon, you can actually swipe each board that is presented to you, and they will kill each boss. And so, on the final floor, you just need to do the 10 combo, or you can even match one of fire, water, wood, light, dark, and heart. And those 6 combos alone will kill the boss. So that is another option for those people who don't necessarily want the crown, but can still aim to get plenty of good rewards. And that's the end of my guide. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below if you are interested in me doing more voice analysis or guides like these. And I will see you all when I next see you all. Take care.